How to write a blog post, let's begin. What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is David, websitecreativepro.com. So in this short video, I just want to cover how to properly structure a blog post so you can create blog posts quickly and easily that actually rank. Now, whenever you have a blog, there's pretty much two options you have. You can either use it for like, say, personal stuff or maybe like a company update if you're, say, like a small business. Or you can use it for like content marketing purposes, which is what I'm going to be assuming that you want to do. And what I mean by that is like you actually want to create blog posts that actually rank and do something and like grow your subscriber base, drive sales, get people to subscribe to your website, etc. So if you're ready, let's jump into my laptop and begin. Into my laptop, let's begin. So the main thing, I'm going to start with number one. The main thing that I want you to take away from this video more than anything else is to focus on creating content that people actually want. So this is websitecreativepro.com. The blog, I focus on primarily creating content that people are actually looking for, because then that ranks and gets search traffic. And so people make the big mistake of kind of just winging it and talking about whatever they want. Like there's a reason why I'm calling this what is web hosting, because this is a keyword phrase that people are actually looking for. Like what is web hosting? Blogging tools. Like those are things that people actually want. Now there's nothing wrong with like kind of just writing whatever you want. Like I kind of do that over here at edgeofdavid.com, where I just kind of write about whatever I want, you know? So this is like my creative outlet where I just blog about whatever I want and I don't really care. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to blog and have like a company update blog, like if you're a small business, like I said earlier, or you just want to have a personal outlet, totally fine. This is my personal outlet. But if you want to actually get search traffic, you need to think about what is your website about? Okay, then create content that people want related to that industry. And so like websitecreativepro.com is about blogging, website builders, web hosting, domain names, that sort of topic. Okay, I do occasionally talk about YouTube ever so slightly, but it's not a primary focus of this. And so, you know, like the brand for Website Creative Pro, the way Google sees this website, it's like authoritative on web hosting, website builders, domain names, that kind of content. So for me to kind of go a little bit off topic is okay, but you know, if I'm going to be competing in the search engines against a website that's specifically focused on like blogging and vlogging and YouTube, they're going to beat me. You know, they're going to beat me in the rankings, no problem. And so you just need to take a step back and think about like what's your website about. And then kind of think about specific content that you can create that's like related to your website. So if we just take a look at Google, so if I type in like website builders, okay? And so here's a bunch of things like website builders for free. That makes sense for Website Creative Pro. Website builders in India? Not really related to like what my website's about. Website builders for photographers, like that's very kind of niche specific, but you know, maybe if you were a photographer, you know, this is a fantastic blog post for you. Like this would be better for a photography oriented website, but I could still cover this in a YouTube video and a blog post with Website Creative Pro, and it could do well, and I could be an affiliate for say like Wix or Squarespace or Format or some, you know, a website builder, like website builders like Wix. That's fantastic. And so like, you know, that's a little bit weird. I don't understand like what someone would be the search intent behind that. So that's another thing you got to think about too, is like whenever you find keywords and phrases, think about like the search intent. So like what would someone who's looking for this, website builders like Wix, what does someone want? You got to kind of like let's take a look. So we could jump in here. Okay, so number one is website builder expert. Okay, so these are Wix alternatives. Okay, Wix alternatives, boom. Wix alternatives, Wix alternatives, Wix alternatives. So apparently people were like searching for website builders like Wix are primarily looking for Wix alternatives. But hey, this is a good keyword. Like maybe I could create a video on this, like website builders like Wix. Okay, so like what are characteristics of Wix? Like it's a very kind of like more of an unstructured website builder compared to Squarespace, which is more, you know, structured in the sense that you have to place elements in a specific spot. You know, Wix, like Google Sites, for example, are a little bit similar in that you can drag and drop things into place. So okay, there we go. So I'm off to the races. So that could be another video and blog post. And that's the kind of way you need to approach blogging if you want to make money. You need to focus on content that people are actually looking for, and that content that's related to your industry, because you don't want to go wildly off topic. Okay. And so like if you have a specific site on a specific, like if you're a photographer, don't talk about how to create a blog with Bluehost. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, kind of stay in your lane, stay in your industry, and create helpful content related to what your website is about. Next, let's briefly talk about the URL structure for a blog post. So it's kind of a technical thing, but I personally recommend to structure your blog post like this. Typically, you want to put all your blog posts under /blog. This typically I find is the best structure because it provides a nice site organization for your website. And so it helps search engines crawl and understand your website better. And it's also just more helpful for visitors to your website. And so that's why I recommend you doing blog slash then the post title. Now this is ideal if your website's going to be like maybe like 300 to like 1,000 blog posts. This is good. But if you're going to be like, if you're going to be building a massive website, then you want to break it up then, and maybe instead of blog, you want to maybe do the category, then the post title if possible. And so also with the URL structure too, you also want to use breadcrumbs when possible. And breadcrumbs are really helpful for visitors because one, they know where they are on the website. Number two, it provides nice internal linking to your specific categories in your homepage. So for example, like people can come to Website Creator Pro, they know where they are, web hosting, they click on this, then they're on a dedicated category page related to web hosting. And so boom, a little bit of content there, and then they can just view whatever they want. And also really helps the way the website appears in the search engines, help it make it look a little bit more authoritative. So for example, like this is a blog post I have, a .co extension, any good. So we have blog domain names. Reason that this is coming up like this is because I have breadcrumbs enabled. And so that's kind of like why it's important. Now, it's not a disaster if you don't do it this way. This is just the way that I personally recommend. Like Neil Patel, for example, he uses the same format, /blog/ post title. But you can still have massive success like bucking that trend. You don't have to follow it, but if you're just starting out, I definitely recommend following that setup, because I'm just want to show you someone who's like, in my opinion, doing everything wrong in terms of their URL structure, but they're still able to build a massive website. So like making sense of sense is a classic example. Like she has the dates. Like dates are good for news websites, but they're not appropriate for a blog because why do you need the date in there? Then a very long page title, and then .html. And it's just like dates really bad. And then a long post title, long URL structure that's kind of irrelevant. Like you want to keep things short and sweet. So it's like, what is web hosting? A complete beginner's guide. Page title or URL structure is what is web hosting. It's not what is web hosting, a complete beginner's guide. Too long, okay? And so someone else who does that too is like, for example, Ferdy, who's here on YouTube. Like he uses the standard like post title. So he doesn't structure everything under like a blog or a category. It's just a very, very long URL structure, which is like, kind of clean that up a little bit. It's not like how to make an affiliate marketing website. Like you want to keep your URL short and sweet when possible. But again, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's having massive success. Ferdy's having very good success. And so it's just, a best practice for your optimization, but you can get away with like bucking trends and not doing every little thing right. So I don't want you to worry, like if you've already been blogging for a year and maybe you have this type of structure, oh no, I have to change it. Don't change it. Okay, if your URL structure is like this, just leave it, okay? But if you're just starting out, definitely consider having it be /blog/ the post title. And then if you think you're going to be building a massive website, like the way the Penny Hoarder is now, like this was started out, like when the guy who started the Penny Hoarder started out, he had the same structure as Ferdy, where it was just, the post title. But as this site has grown into being a full-time, multi-million-dollar business, they structure everything under the category, then the post title, because they just produce so much content that they need to do that type of structure. Actually writing the blog posts, make sure to use H2, H3, H4, etc. tags to break up the blog post to make it readable and also make it very scannable, so someone can come on the site and kind of scan the page really quickly and stop and read the thing that they want to read. Very important. You do that by using H2, H3, H4 title tags in the correct way. So for example, this is my H1 tag. Your H1 is the title of your blog post. Then you want to have H2 tags, which break up the blog post into different sections. Then you want to use H3 that breaks up subsections more appropriately. So for example, if we come down here and we come out down here, this is H2. Okay, it's like types of web hosting. Then we have a broad overview about the types of web hosting: shared, cloud, virtual, private server, reseller, dedicated. Then this is an H3. Why? Because this is a subsection of this. Why is this H2? Because this is a subsection of this. And so you want to make sure to use these H2, H3, H4 title tags when appropriate, break things up as appropriate, and focus on making the blog post as scannable as possible, because not everybody's going to hit your blog post and like sit there and read. They're going to jump around. Like, how you think about how you act on a web page. You're going to like scroll around and like stop when you see some, oh, cloud hosting. Actually, I don't know what cloud hosting is. Let me read this. boom, you know, and then they can get to the piece of content that they want. Whereas if you didn't use any type of like H2, H3 tags, it becomes very difficult to find the information that you want, and it makes the blog post less readable and less scannable. Break paragraphs up. And so as you notice here, the way I structure any piece of content on this website and all the websites that I manage is that the blog posts are broken up. And what I mean specifically is like there's no massive wall of text. You know, it's like a short little paragraph, space, then start a new paragraph. And you want each paragraph to be like 2 to 4 sentences long in length, okay? And then you want to use white space, because this, like with blogging, it's not writing an essay like you would for high school. Like you want to break up content and use white space. White space is your friend because it makes it easier to read for people, and it helps people focus on what's important. And you know, a wall of text is just too dense and too difficult for people to enjoy reading. It's just breaking content up like this, like a little paragraph there, break it up. Little paragraph. I could make this into one massive paragraph, and that would be appropriate if this was like, say, like an essay that I was submitting, but this is not. This is a web page and it's a blog. So you have to approach it a little bit differently than what you're taught in school. You don't have to follow the same rules that you learned as a kid. Break up content. I'm telling you, break up content, because what ends up happening is that people stay on the website longer and click things, then you'll make more money because they'll actually read your content and get value from it, and then take action on the specific links that you have leveraged within the piece of content. Use images and videos to demonstrate stuff within your blog posts, okay? Don't just add images just because you think it looks pretty. Like, images should just intentionally be added to demonstrate something. Same with videos. Also, as you notice here, do I have a massive, gigantic image at the top of this blog post? Like, no. Why? Because I want people to read the content. I don't want some gigantic feature image right here that pushes the content down. This helps people get into the site, and it helps design the site a little bit better for mobile, because you have to remember that people, like 50% of my traffic for this website are people on their phone. And so you don't want some gigantic image when people open up your blog post on their phone. You want people to just jump right into the text. I'm not saying don't use feature images. I use feature images all the time for my blog posts, but I just have it set so when the blog post is open, there's no feature image. And then in terms of videos, like I never lead off a piece of content with a video right here. I always like to have some type of text introduction, then either put a video right in the beginning, like maybe underneath the second section, or I'll go ahead and put a, say, video at the footer of the blog post if there's a related video. And then in terms of images, images are strictly used to demonstrate stuff. So for example, like this is my blog post on how to create a website. We have step 2 right here. I have an image demonstrating the different pricing plans for Bluehost, and then a little buying guide about like this is what each one is, and like how, you know, it's to demonstrate to people who are new so they understand. It's not just like, oh, let me go find a picture of a flower or a meadow because it looks pretty. Like, everything's relevant, okay? And so images are strictly used to demonstrate, videos are strictly used to demonstrate, and you should kind of implement the same strategy when you create content. And I just want to end this by saying that each blog post you create should have some type of clear and specific goal. And so I just jotted this down on a notepad just so I don't forget anything. Anyways, goals for blog posts. It could be either like an affiliate marketing promotion. For example, like this piece of content, 6 best YouTube cameras for bloggers. What do you think? This is to promote Amazon Associates, okay? And so the goal of this is to like rank for this kind of phrase, like cameras for YouTube, best cameras for YouTube, cameras for blogging, that kind of thing, and then to make a commission by promoting relevant, helpful cameras, okay? And so that's one thing. It could also just be like, maybe this piece of content is high traffic and there's maybe potential for ad revenue. So perhaps you could just whatever you find a piece of content for your topic, for your industry, for your website that has potential to drive a lot of traffic. Maybe there's no real product, but you could put like Google AdSense or something. You could also just collect emails. So sometimes you want to, maybe you'll find a piece of content where you could just like, it's high traffic, there's like relevant an offer you could put in front of the audience, or maybe you just want to create a piece of content in order to collect emails from people because you provide such helpful, valuable content. You could also just create blog posts just to have internal linking. So what I mean by that is just like maybe this piece of content has no goal other than to help build internal links to other pages. So sometimes you can interlink blog posts, okay? And so like maybe you have like a buying guide, for example, like this is a buying guide for cameras on YouTube, it's like, okay, maybe I can go ahead and create a different piece of content, a different blog post, and then maybe there's no clear way to monetize that, but I could have internal links back to this. And internal links do help your website rank and build authority over time. And then the last is sometimes just to build out the website. Like sometimes you're just gonna have to create content because it makes sense and your website's not complete without having it. So for example, like let's just navigate back to the homepage. So I have 2 blog posts right here. So it's like this one's on create a website and this one's on how to start a blog. Those are really high traffic, valuable keywords that no way am I probably ever gonna rank for that. like these 2 took a ton of work to write. They are like 4,000 word guides, and unlikely that I'm ever going to rank on first page of Google for how to create a website or how to start a blog. No way. But like the Website Creator Pro would not be complete without it. Same with like this piece of content right here, how to write your legal pages. There's no clear way to like monetize this, but it's like it's a helpful piece of content. And so it's like just the website is not complete without it, because then like whenever I create like a YouTube video or a blog post or a tutorial, I have this page where I can have like, hey, this is what you should do. And it's really helpful because then I can just like reference this to help people in like my other pieces of content. So like when I create like a tutorial video on how to create a website with WordPress, I'd be like, in parts of my tutorial, I tell people like how to design the footer appropriately, where you should have like, your different disclaimers and privacy policy. And then it's like, okay, well, if you want to check it out, here's a general overview about like what should be included in these pages. And so sometimes you're just creating content not because there's any monetization strategy. It's just truly, genuinely, it's just to be helpful, provide value, and to build out the website and make it a more complete experience for your visitors. Okay, that is it for this tutorial video on how to properly create a blog post that can actually rank, get search traffic, etc. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. My name is David, websitecreatorpro.com. Bye-bye.